Good morning. Today we're continuing working with those graphs. We are doing CO62. I can interpret and create stem and leaf plots. How many of us have heard of a stem and leaf plot? Before I taught this class, hadn't heard of it. Have I seen them since? Yep. I've seen them on the NWA test. Some people do get questions about this. So it's important that we know how to read it. Okay. So a stem and leaf plot, each data value. Now this is going to sound kind of complicated, but I am going to explain it. So don't get overwhelmed by the definition. Once I explain it, it's going to make more sense. Each data value is separated into a leaf. The leaf part is the last digit of that data, of the number, so the last digit, and a stem. Now the stem is the remaining digits. So when we look at our stem and leaves, we're going to see our numbers broken up. Okay, you're going to see the stem part and you're going to see the leaf part. What we have to do is know that we are combining the stem and leaf together to know what the actual real number is. So our real number is not 5 and 9. That's just the leaf part. We need to combine it with the stem to see what our true number is. So stem and leaf plots are great for displaying data in order. So important to note, we need to know when we use bar graphs, when we use line graphs. Now the stem and leaf we use to see things in order. So here's an example of a stem and leaf plot showing the age breakdown of customers. So knowing what we know, that our number is broken apart, we've got our stem and our leaves. The stem is on the y-axis, the leaves are on the x-axis. I'm going to put this up higher so it's easier to see. Let's see what the ages are of the people, of the customers. So our first row has a stem of 0, and there aren't any leaves written. What that tells me, if the stem is 0, the leaves would be single-digit numbers. So that would be customers who are 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 years old. So there's no kids 9 and under that were customers. If I look at my next one, my stem is a 1, and then I have a 5 and a 9. I just said there's no 5-year-old customers. Can anybody figure out what the age would be? Sarah? 15. So I like to go through, and I like my first step with stem and leaf plots is to put the actual numbers. So I know what numbers I'm dealing with. It's not a 9-year-old. How old is this person? 19. So if I look at my next row, it's not a 3-year-old. How old are they, Bennett? 23. And this next one would be 23, 26, 27, 28, and 28. Super important to know that that stem has to go in front of our leaf. And we're going to see when we answer questions what makes it really important for us to connect those together. So finish up writing out what these numbers truly are, not just their leaves, but put the stem in front of each of these numbers so we see what numbers we're working with. So go through with our stem of 3s. We're going to put a 3 in front of each number. So I know that it's 30, 31, 31, 31, 32, 35, 36, 37. I'm going to do the same thing with my 4s, because it's not actually a 4, it means 40. So this would be 40, 40, 44, 45, 48. There are no 50s. I have a 60, a 60, and a 60. Why do you think, when we're putting numbers into a stem and leaf plot, why do you think we do this? Why are we putting the stem on one side and the leaf on the other? Emma?
To find, it is just like the bar graphs and the new line cuts. You can find the mean, median, and mode in those.
You can find the mean, median, and mode in it. You are absolutely right. We take that stem off, so we're not having to write as much. We're not having to write 30, 31, 31, 31, 32, 35, 36, 37. If we just say, these are all my 30s, I know that I have a 30 and 31 and 31 because I have that 0, 1, 1, 1. So it's less that we have to write. Okay. A lot of times with math, we have to work things out and make it more complicated. This is actually giving us less work to do when we're doing that stem and leaf plot, because we're taking that stem off, the 30s, and we're just putting, well, which numbers of the 30s are listed. When we go back and add that stem with the leaf to see what the true number is, it's easier to answer our questions. What is the age of the youngest customer? I've had people put 0 on there because they forgot to put the stem in front of it and they just looked at the leaf. So if I erase all of this and I look just at my leaves, I see 0 is the smallest number. We forgot to connect the stem in front. What is the youngest age of a customer? Kylie? 15. The youngest age is going to be that first leaf that's in there. So what's the oldest age? Emma?
60.
60. It's going to be the last number. So the youngest, the smallest, is going to be the first. The biggest, largest is going to be the last. Find the median and mode. Stem and leaf plots are really good for identifying this because we know with the median, we saw this a few objectives ago, our first step is always putting things in order. Well, it's in order now, right? The stem and leaf plot, we automatically are putting our numbers in order. So, I'm going to do what I do with my medians. Cross off on the left and the right. Left, right, 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 left, right. I have 2 numbers in the middle. Is it a 1 and a 2? Are those my 2 middle numbers, James?
Actually,
31 and 32. Do I put both of those in for my median? Kellen?
No.
What do I have to do?
You add them and then divide them by 2.
I have to add them together. So 31 plus 32, and I get 63. And then Kellen said divide it by 2. 63 divided by 2 is 31.5. So my median falls in the middle of 31 and 32, 31.5. Now I need to find my mode. What does mode mean? Lila, careful. Mode.
Oh, no.
Most. It's got those O's. So we need to find the most that we see a number. Which number do we see the most of? What do you think, Kylie?
60 and 31.
Say that louder for me, 60 and what?
And 31.
So I see 3 31s and I see 3 60s. There's no other one that has 3 of it. You have to be super careful with this one, because every year I have kids that go, oh, let's see, the most. I see 2, 3 8s. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. 2 6s, 2 7s, 3 5s. So 0. 0 is my most. Why would that be wrong? James?
Because they didn't add the 6 or the 3.
Yeah, they didn't put those stems in there. That's not 0, that's 30. That's not 0, that's 40. That's 40. Okay, you have to put the stem in front of it to really look at the most. You don't just look at the leaves. You look at your full, complete number with the stem and the leaf. Every year I get kids confused by that. So make a little star next to it, do something so you remember to look at the stem and leaf put together. So when it asks for the most, it's not asking for the leaves, it's asking for the full number. All right, so that's how we read it. Oh, we have one more question. Is the data more likely to represent a coffee shop or an indoor playground? And explain your reasoning. What do you think, Sarah?
A coffee shop because it's like older ages.
A coffee shop because it's older ages. I don't think there's gonna be too many 60-year-olds playing at a playground. They might be watching their grandkids play at the playground, but there's no little kids, right? If you're at an indoor playground, you're gonna have little kids present. Coffee shop might have some little kids that come in with their parents. On this particular moment in time, there wasn't any. James?
I don't think that little kids need any coffee because they have.
It doesn't matter if they need the coffee or not, because one thing, coffee shops sell things that aren't coffee. They have non-caffeinated stuff. I know my kids have gotten fruity stuff when they were little. They've gotten a cookie or a scone. Sometimes kids go in with their parents because the parents need to get something. So there are times that there might be a little kid in there, but not nearly as much as the older kids, the teenagers, and the adults. Right? All right, so now we have Chevin Colts, because Mr. Schultz likes to make plays on his name. He's a silly man. Chevin Colts, the famous Russian basketball player, has played 40 games so far this season, and his point totals are below. Create a stem and leaf plot with the data. So we have all of the points. We've got our stem and leaf together. So what do we have to do when we create our stem and leaf plot? Emma?
You have to put the one, how many, like the 1, 2.
Yeah, we have to separate out the stem from the leaf on each of these numbers. And what do we have to do then? James?
Put the leaves.
Keep going. Put the leaves
Put the
what?
leaves by the number
Yep.
that.
And what are we doing with the leaves when we're putting them by the correct stem?
And
We're putting them in order. Okay, so we want, remember, it's like when we do the median, we have to put them in order. So we've got 40 numbers here, because he played 40 games. We have to create our stem and our leaves. So we start up at the top with our smallest numbers, and then our 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm gonna put 60s because I have room, but I'm not sure if there's any 60s. I'll be scoring a lot of points. Okay, so you leave space at the top for the zeros, or you can actually put a 0. Okay, that's for the single digits. There's nothing in front of the 2, right? It's just a 2, so that would be the 0 single digits. Then we put 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Now, I'm going to look over at my data. What's the first numbers I'm looking for? What kind of numbers? Maddie?
The ones that are, the first number is 1.
The first number is the 1, so those teen numbers. So, I see an 11. I'm going to take a quick look to see if I see a 10, because that would come first. I don't see any 10s, so I'm going to take this 11, I'm going to cross it off as, oops, wrong spot. I have a 1 for my stem. So I'm going to put that 1 right there. Why do you think I'm crossing it off, Emma?
So you don't put it again.
So I don't put it in there again. Cross off the numbers as you use it. When you have 40 numbers, that's a lot. You want to make sure you're crossing them off. What's going to be the next number I should put? Emma?
15. Well,
Yep, there's a 15 here. I don't see any other teen that's smaller. So I'm going to put that 5 there. So you've got the numbers over on the left. That's the first numbers. So we only, when you're making that lemon leaf pulp, when you're creating it for the first time, you just want to put the leaf. So you're just putting the 1, then you're just putting the 5, because we already have the 10s part. So just put that single number. Gemma, what am I going to put next?
7.
7. I have a 17 right here. What am I going to put after that? Kylie? An 8 for my 18. And then what? Adeline?
9.
There's my 19. Do I have any other teen numbers? I look again just to double check. Nope, no other teen numbers. So now I'm going to move on to what kind of numbers? James?
20.
The 20s. I'm going to look for my smallest 20s. I'm going to look to see if I have an actual 20. And I don't see a 20. Do I see a 21? I do not see a 21, but I do see a 22. So I'm going to put a 2 there for 22. We get the idea of how to do this? Okay, I'm going to have you finish writing out your stem and leaf plot, and then you're going to answer the questions on the bottom. What is the mode and what is the median? Remember, your mode is not going to be a single digit because we don't have any single digit numbers. So your mode, you have to put the leaf on with it. Okay. And lucky us, this is a 1-pager today. So if you want to come up and check your answers with me, you can come up and check your answers. And then you can work on that Khan Academy. Like I said, I only have a couple of us that have Khan done. It is due tomorrow. If you have your Khan all done, work on your math packet. That's due on Tuesday. Turn it in by Friday and you can fix up your mistakes. I do have a few to pass back. Right. Studying and memorizing your Stations of the Cross. Now would be a good time to get your Stations of the Cross checked off too during our work time. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.